Hi YouTube and welcome to Millennialu. And whether you're a millennial, baby boomer, Gen X or Z, here we'll talk about the financial topics we wish they had taught us in school. Now, full disclosure, I am not a financial advisor. However, I do take an avid interest in finances. Having said that, if you do have any specific questions, please refer them back to your financial advisor. Now, with that out of the way, let's just jump right into it. Today, we're going to be talking about credit card debt, why it's bad, and why you should be avoiding it. More than 189 million Americans have a credit card, and the average household has an average of 4 credit cards. Now, this in and of itself is not a bad thing. However, the average household credit card debt is just over $8,000. One more thing to consider is that over 46% of Americans have an outstanding balance on their credit cards. And of those consumers, over 60% reported that they had just as much debt, if not more, than just 1 year prior. So what this actually means is that not only did they not diminish their credit card debt at all, but it actually grew with them over time. You see, the thing you have to consider about credit card debt is that if you're only paying off the minimum balance, then you're actually going to be paying a lot more in interest over time. You see, credit cards have an interest rate, or an APR, which stands for annual percentage rate. But the thing about this interest is that it's actually compounding daily. So I went to creditkarma.com and they have a debt repayment calculator. Now, just a full disclosure, I am actually not sponsored by them, but I found that debt repayment calculator to be pretty useful. So I took a debt of $8,000 and applied an interest rate of 15%, and I added in a minimum payment balance of $160. The minimum payment is typically about 2% of your balance on your credit card. So if I'm just paying off the minimum balance with an APR of 15%, it's going to take about 6.6 years to pay off. And I'm going to be paying just over $4,600 in interest. However, if I did all that same calculation, but instead doubled the minimum payment to $320, then I'm actually going to be paying off that debt in about 2.6 years, and I'm only going to be paying just over $1,600 in interest. So adding in more than just a minimum definitely helps out a lot. So why are so many Americans in credit card debt? Well, to be honest, I think it's because these basic financial principles were not taught to us before sending us out into the real world. It is so important to avoid credit card debt. You see, the dangers of credit cards is that they can actually allow us to live above our means. But if we aren't keeping track of our finances, it is so easy to get ourselves into credit card debt. So before you purchase those shoes, that fancy new watch, or that GameStation 5, consider your finances first. Another way of looking at it is, if you don't have 5 times that amount saved up, separate from your emergency fund, then you can't actually afford it. Another reason we tend to get into credit card debt is due to financial emergencies. This is why it is so important to have an emergency fund set apart. In my previous video, I actually talk about setting up an emergency fund, so if you haven't seen it yet, feel free to check it out. Remember, it is so important to avoid using our credit card for financial emergencies. Another reason why we tend to get into credit card debt is because we are often incentivized for cashback offers or sign-up bonuses. Now, while these are great benefits, it is so important that we do not have a balance carried over into the next month, because any interest accrued is actually going to outweigh these benefits. At the end of the day, you should not be paying any credit card interest. This means living within your means and not going over your budget by using your credit card to make big purchases like that fancy new watch or that new GameStation 5. Remember, if you can't afford it, don't put it on the credit card. If you do have a balance on your credit card, try your hardest to pay off more than just the minimum. This is going to help you get out of debt faster. However, don't do this if it means you're going to miss another payment or you're going to be behind on paying off your other debts. In the future, I am going to be making a video on strategies of paying off credit card debt. So if that sounds like a good idea to you, or you have any other ideas for videos, be sure to comment that below. Thank you so much for tuning in. It really means a lot. Be sure to like if you liked the video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It really helps out the channel. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.